Hello. Hey everybody, how are you all doing? It's been a couple of weeks since I did one of these. I will be getting back to doing them every week. If you are watching, please do drop into the comments and say hello and where you're watching from. We have a lot, me and Hugo, have a lot of things lined up for you in this next half hour. So hopefully you will enjoy it. Our first comments. Hey Phil, good morning. How are you? How's everyone doing? Good to virtually chat to you again. Two ships passing in the night, me and Phil are. But it's great to have you here, mate. Danny finally made one live. Good morning. Now, I'm going to be reliant on you for lots of comments. We have a hot topic coming up, Danny, and I definitely want yours and Phil's views on this. But thank you very much for watching. I want to start with something that I've done that is a little bit different so far. Come behind the scenes and chat before I go live. So for the last half hour, I have been live streaming another view of this little Get Out of Rap studio, as I now call it. And I've been live streaming from my YouTube channel. I'll do it every week from 9:30, and I'll move the camera around. You'll get to see Hugo, and you'll also see I've been explaining how I do this. So maybe you want to do one yourselves, but go to my YouTube channel from about 9:30 and you will get to see behind the scenes. Oh, lots of comments coming in. Hi Paddy, how you doing? You made it. Thank you. Oh, not Wathemba. Hello, how are you? Good to see you again. There he is. Simon Duddy, an absolute legend and knowledge of all things quality and customer outcomes. Good here. Thank you, sir. A lot of people in my previous roles have called me Mr. T, and it's called at the moment, but there's also another Mr. T. Craig, morning, representing the mighty Red Recruitment today. Hello, Craig. How are you? And all of the gang down at Red Recruitment. Hiya, Scott. Good morning. Do not say human capital. I will leave after fuming a little. That bit where I just said it doesn't count though, right? So, and Mordany, hello, good to see you. Right, let's crack on. So, for the last half hour on this live streaming, there's been one person popped into view. I said hello and they left. So, anyway, what I want to start with today is something that I think will get us all talking. But first of all, here's the news. Here's the news. Here's the news. Okay, let's go to this. You must have seen this. Okay. There's an AI company called Sanas based in the Silicon Valley. They've built a real-time voice-altering technology that aims to help call center workers around the world sound like Westerners. It's not a concept. It's already being used. Hold on. You're Mr. T, fool. I ain't getting on no plane. The similarities between me and Mr. T are endless. Hey, Simmer, how you doing? It's good to see you here. And also Joe, good to see you. So let's get back to this. So basically, the full article's in The Guardian. I will share it afterwards on the newsletter. Hugo's been really noisy chewing his bed. Stop it. Stop chewing your bed. So, accents are a constant hurdle for millions of call center workers, especially in countries like the Philippines and India, where an entire accent neutralization industry tries to train workers to sound more like the Western customers they're calling or receiving calls from, often unsuccessfully. And one of the founders was an agent who faced discrimination and had to call himself Nathan. And I'm sure we've all heard stories like that. Another one of the Sanas's president, Marty Massi Sarim, and a call center industry veteran, said that call center work should be thought of as a cosplay, which Sanas is simply trying to improve. Now, the article and the journalist who went to speak to them tried it out, listened to the calls, and actually people were sounding like they were from Brooklyn. So, and the people that they talk to sound like, you go, stop it. Sound like they are from America, and they say there's benefits, and it makes the BPOs, the offshore BPOs, a better proposition. That's one side. The other side is the implications of what this is saying. And a sociologist says that artificially neutralizing accents represented a kind of indifference to difference, which diminishes the humanity of the person on the other end of the phone. It's basically saying white is right, I guess. Now, obviously a really, really hot topic, this, and I was amazed to read it's even live. So I'd love to know, what do you think about AI erasing accents? So I want to have that as our ticker. Please do have your comments coming in. Let's see if we've got some already. Kane, I remember that in the UK, I think it was Virgin, where the sole tagline was, our call centres are in the UK, simply because the target demographic was largely fed up of Indian call centres. And I also think Nat West did that as well. Danny, let's see. For me, this is the equivalent of the horrendous white is right viewpoint. Absolutely not cool. And Simmer, as a passionate leader of D, E, and I, this saddens me massively. Now, I absolutely don't want to, especially someone like yourself, see you sad through watching this, but I think it's such a, like I say, I couldn't believe this when I read it. Those who love to be offended are. I see this as a pragmatic approach to the real world. People have biases, and if they get in the way, try to solve the issue. Thank you, Paddy, for, as I thought this would happen, this is something that is going to generate a lot of conversation, and it is sad, isn't it? I think that rather than accept that it's maybe customers' viewpoints that we should be looking to change and educate, that we are using technology to kind of blanket approach people doing their job. The flip side of that, and the article explains this in a lot more detail than me, the flip side of that is that the people that are working in the contact centers have said that it's made their job a hell of a lot better. They enjoy their job a lot more. Okay, forget the bias or DEI issues for the moment. It's practically not true. Otherwise, you'd never shout at your sat nav or Alexa in their Western accents, would you? That's very true. I'm not going to say the word out loud because she'll probably start. I nearly said it. Service matters most. Don't care whom I speak with or how they sound. It's a bit bizarre to change accents, but let's remember that white people are hardly the minority. If anything, Indian people should be upset their accent isn't something they are being proud of. I have opened the proverbial can of worms here, haven't I? Thank you, Kane, for that. Not for opening the can of worms, but for your comment. All comments, and this is why I like doing this, because this is something that's affecting our industry. Maybe not everyone's seen it, and I want to share it. So, Craig, people confuse accents with the ability to fulfill the role. The reality is that offshore staff often a smaller toolbox due to regimented processes. Having a computer solution relies on the process, but does not ensure ultimate control. Very, very true. I remember sitting with an amazing team in the contact center in South Africa. Like South Africans faking US accents, but because the hard truth was US customers wouldn't deal with foreign accents. Thank you, Paddy. There's a recognized bias called own race bias, which results in people being less likely to recognize individual differences in other races' faces. I'd wager this would reinforce this audibly. The live chat shift will likely account for a much bigger percentage of call center work anyway. No accents there. These are all great points, everyone. Now, one of the things this made me think was the reason I have the evil eye behind me, the other side. and a Turkish football shirt up there. I worked in a call center in Istanbul for 2.5 years, and we went and got some outsourcers. So it was all the Turkish market. I was an Englishman in Istanbul, and we went to, Turkey's a massive country, and we went to a part of Eastern Turkey where the service we were offering was a restaurant and entertainment type discount off cinemas and things like that, and shops. The majority of the customers were going to be in Istanbul. Now, the accents were so different within Turkey that we knew that there would be a problem. So we spent a lot of time training the agents in this outsourcer that we were using on how to sound like you're from Istanbul, and to talk about certain parts of Istanbul and restaurants. And we spent a lot of time trying to soften the edges of their accents. So it absolutely does happen. And if you think about, even within this country, companies have chosen to move to certain parts of the UK because they want to tap into a particular type of accent. Phil's staying quiet. I was hoping Phil would come in about the Geordie accent. Right, so I do still want to keep your comments coming in on this. Okay, sorry, one more. I once worked in a contact centre in the UK, and whilst they were setting up an offshore centre in India, their training consisted of watching EastEnders to pick up the accent, and we're all given English-sounding names. It's I think this is something that we can all relate to, isn't it? Everyone's heard of or been involved in situations where this has happened. So, as with anything that disturbs us and it generates this type of conversation, that has to be a good thing. We have to definitely keep watching this and definitely continue talking about it. Now, one of the other features that I will often do is 3 events that are coming up that have caught my eye. This time, though, there is 3 is the magic number. Now, my slide actually says 3 monkeys. So myself, Pete Dunn, and Chris Rainsforth are combining for a free webinar courtesy of the forum. 3 is the magic number. These are top tips for your QA functionality. It's happening on the 20th, so 7 days from now at 12 p.m. And details you can find on the forum website. And I keep saying this, and I haven't yet done one for ages, but I'm going to do a newsletter that I'll share tomorrow. So if I'm going to be being carried, let's be honest, by these 2, well, actually, Pete's probably going to be carrying me and Chris. So, right, some more comments. Hang on. I had a call from a contact center in Pune, is it? Where the individual was called Dave and was trying to ask me if I'd watched Coronation Street last night. Patently not legit, and that damaged the integrity of the interaction. I think we've kind of evolved, haven't we? Irina, how are you? Irina, the president of the Ukrainian Contact Center Association. Whenever I see you, I just think I have to say we're all still with you. It's very difficult to get rid of the accent. I believe that if it does not interfere with the perception of the text, you should not pay attention to it. I'm not laughing at that comment. I'm laughing at this one. Thank you, Irina, for your comment. But Chris, thanks for that picture. Come on, mate. You actually look at those blue eyes. Look at them. Leeds conceded in the 90th minute. So I have got this right, haven't I, Chris? It's the 20th at 12 p.m. and 3 is a magic number. 3 wise monkeys. Paddy, from the funny side, as a travelling student, I worked in a call centre in Australia in the 80s. About 50% of Aussies had Irish ancestry. Often I'd end up in a long chat about people's memories of Ireland, and my AHT was horrendous, and you got fired. Well, there's a story there, isn't there? Maybe that's something we should do. Tell us all about the times when maybe some key people in the industry like yourself have actually lost their jobs. So I want to just remind everybody of, please do get in touch with me about shout outs for your team. an achievement and a special occasion, or that you just want to say they've done a brilliant job. I got some messages yesterday. It was just a little bit too late. So if you could get me pictures of your team, names, and why you want to recognize them as having a shout out. Let's talk more and more about our industry. Okay, let's go back to the Paddy raises a good point. We operate in the real world. The world uses accents and advertising to imply trustworthiness. Yorkshire. Simple but hard-working. Brummie. Or humorous. Liverpool. It's overly simplistic to try and change society's wider biases, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't challenge them. I'm with you on that one. Phil, I had a conversation with a friend who has a huge amount of experience in both onshoring and offshoring. And he made the point that those offshore, for example, have specific skill sets that we don't have as much in the UK. And that changed my perception of being put through to an offshore contact centre. I actually don't mind if the skill set is relative to my issue. Really good point. I think ultimately, even though we work within the industry, Phil, you make a great point. We're all customers and we all just want our the reason that we're contacting the contact centre to be resolved. And like you, I genuinely don't care where that is, as long as it's done to my satisfaction in a nice way. And ultimately, that's the key. I have to say, it makes me uncomfortable that we are westernizing accents. But again, I'm always open for conversation and debate about it. So I want to share what I think is hopefully something useful. We have a bit of a crisis, not a crisis, but we have a challenge in the industry in obtaining talent. Do we do enough of this? Do we do enough sharing of what a great career you can have in a contact center? And are we taking this out into the world of sixth form, of places where we know new talent is going to be looking for roles? Are we telling people that to progress in contact centers, you don't need to be the best performing agent on the phones, you don't need a degree, you don't need to speak in management cliches? That was one that always stuck in my mind. I would think, I don't know some of this stuff like kicking the tires and things like that. Do I have to know that to be able to progress? I remember thinking once, I'm going to get some of these comments in my head ready to use, because that will show that I'm ready to progress into management. Now that I've got a bit more experience, I realize that is nonsense, total nonsense. Just talk the way you talk. You don't need to know all the terminology. And to be an expert in the field you want to progress in, you don't have to be an expert right away. You can learn something new. I had a great podcast this week where there's a team working on some cutting edge technology, like it's brilliant. And they went out into operations and they found a team of people, none of which would say they were technical. They weren't good at coding. They were just keen to learn. And now they're part of a really important team. So what you do need is a growth mindset, desire to learn and solve problems, resilience and fortitude to keep going when things get tough, and an openness and desire to build relationships with people. What else would you add to both areas? What don't you need to progress, and what do you need? Here we go. What if the juice isn't worth the squeeze and we can't find a greener way forward? I think we should run both of these up the flagpole, Danny, see where they go. Absolutely. My post the other day mentioned this. Oh, was this your story, Phil? I love that. Phil's love letter to our industry. You should check it out. My post the other day mentioned this. Make the most of it and learn as much as you can. Most of the happiest people I know have worked in contact centers their whole lives. How true. Okay, Joe. Having recruited for frontline operations, the UK have one of the most diverse ethnic backgrounds in the world. Many dialects and accents that are actually embraced as a bedrock of the contact center in our industry. A really good point, Joe. Thank you very much. The two largest drivers of employee engagement are a sense of belonging and B, being stretched and trusted in role. What better environment is there than a contact center for those two. I couldn't agree more. That sense of belonging is something that I miss, actually, having from my time on the phones, that esprit de corps, the people around you, and feeling like you're a team within teams, competing against each other, all in a good-natured way, but trying to do something for our company and our customers. That sense of belonging is tangible, and I liken it to sport, actually, being in a football team or any kind of team. I think you've hit the nail on the head there again, Danny. Paddy, I echo your message to Irina there. Slava Ukraini. That point of building relationships, I would argue, is the best, because as companies come and go, if you're a good person and build good relationship with people, others will seek you out to join them in their new role, business, etc. Very, very true. I'm very lucky that there's a lot of people that I worked with 10, 15, 20 years ago that I've stayed in touch with. And it's wonderful to both see where they've gone in their careers, but also that now we work together in different ways. There are people that I can rely on to ask questions and help and advice. So really good point, Phil. Okay, before I share something else that's useful, I just want to do a bit of Craig, I think we're a little way from working in contact centers being an industry of choice. I think that's true. However, it's the best start anyone can have, introducing young people into a working life with a group of adults and potential career either in or around the contact center. I started on the phones. Very, very true, Craig. And what other industry will you get such a good immersion into understanding how our customers think, or how customers think? You know, you'll speak to more customers in a week than senior leaders will speak to in a year, maybe two. You know, so that kind of grounding is just brilliant. She started faxing. Yeah, very true. Danny Wareham is on the money. That could be a quote all by itself. The need for trust, but that is probably our industry's weakest area, our Achilles heel. He was a Greek Macedonian fellow, by the way. Come on, Paddy, we know who Achilles is, but really good point. I was going to make a link here. Look, I started on the phones. A bit of a shameless plug. Please, if you haven't yet, do check out the notebooks that I've really enjoyed putting together. I love a bit of design. I've found that I'm just churning out notebooks. Some of them are never going to be bought. They're far too weird, but please do check them out. I'll share the link on a comment in here. But if you just go onto Amazon and search Martin P. Teasdale, I went all pretentious and put my middle name in. You'll see all of them. There's over 50 now. I went over 200 orders, which is just mind-blowing. As I put in a post the other day, it's not going to change my life. Amazon take the lion's share, but to be fair, they do all the work. I just come up with the designs. But seeing the pictures of people with them in our industry is great. And I would say we need more of this kind of stuff. We're a massive industry, and we don't really have a lot of stuff like this. So if other people do it, that's great. We just got to keep getting it out there and keep being proud of our industry. Paddy Comedy had a strange accent, though. Yeah, would Achilles do all right on the phones right now with that AI? And he wore a skirt. Why not? I would wear a skirt, I think, especially when it was in that heat wave. Okay, now then, I saw yes, Paddy Common, thanks a lot. Glory to the heroes indeed, Irina. I saw a really nice tip the other day. So I specifically thought of team leaders, but this works for everyone. Any relationship you have, whether that's a personal relationship or with people in your team, if one of your team is having a bad time and they're telling you about it, one of the first things you could say is, do you want comfort or solutions? Please try this out. It really works. I think a lot of people that go into team leaders, management roles, want to fix. When you hear someone's having a bad time, you want to help them. You want to make things better for them, when actually suddenly bombarding them with solutions might be the wrong thing, and it might take the conversation in a different way, because you might be suggesting solutions they've already tried or already thought of. And I think this is a really, really nice way of just being there for that person, but being there in the way that they want you there. So, very simple question: do you want comfort or solutions? I'd love to know if anyone's tried this or has a variation of this. Simmer, I think this comment is around the thing about what's progression in careers. So we've introduced this in our group interview stage and training sessions. We pick people at random in our contact center to pop in and talk about their careers and progression. That's brilliant. How it started versus how it's going. I've personally been pushing shift the mindset people have of our industry as a stopgap. I started on the phones. Brilliant. So hopefully this is something you can take away. A nice simple tip. It definitely works. It also works, like I say, in your personal relationships. If your other half comes home and has had a bad day, and they're telling you about it, this has definitely helped me, because so I don't go straight into fix mode, because it really annoys Bev. So, do you want comfort or solutions? I would love to know if anyone's got something similar. Okay, another Simmer, 100% with you on that. Not to brag, but the company I work for's mission is making contact centers employers of choice. The future needs skilled people helping us all. Very true, Paddy, and it's going to only get more of a challenge, isn't it? David, hi, good to see you, mate. A very nice tip. My go-to is solutions and problem solving, but not always what people want. As my wife often tells me, we are inhabiting similar worlds, which is why this tip has really helped. This is excellent. We need more of it. Brilliant stuff. Okay, we're coming towards the end. Thank you very much. Oh, here we go, Simon. Love that. My approach is never to assume. Colleagues need a different approach dependent on the circumstances, and the only way you can truly support them is by knowing what approach is right for them at that time. Really true, Simon. Now, I do want to say as well, Simon is currently looking for a new role. I hope you don't mind me saying it, Simon. He is excellent, absolutely excellent. One of the best people I've worked with in the QA space. So get in touch with him, snap him up, because the fact this guy's on the market is like having one of the best players out there from a football point of view that you could snap up and make a real difference to your team. So just as we come to the last bit, I just want to highlight the next episode that is going to be out is Richard Gregory of Odigo, and he is talking, or we are talking, vulnerability in customers and agents. Richard is a great guy. He shares a lot of top tips and also has a link to a report that Odigo commissioned that is massively helpful. So please do check it out. You're welcome. You're welcome, mate. That should be out on Friday, I think. I want to give you all the gift of time. I'm going to finish on time for once. Thank you very much for watching. For all this content, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, the newsletter on LinkedIn, which I've got to get better at, and also any other format. Just have to look for Get Out of Rap. Why not next week come on the YouTube live and watch me set up, have a chat with me about how I do it, anything really. From 9:30 onwards, I'm going to be streaming live on YouTube before going through this. Just want to, here we go, Paddy. As a younger idiot, I read men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I was such a problem-solving bloke. Embarrassing. Turns out we want both. Comfort and solutions. We do. I think it's more about what the other person wants. Okay. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. Great. Thank you very much, Paddy. Slava Ukraini, indeed. We're with you, Irina, all the time. We'd love to be able to do more, actually. So thank you very much, everybody. If you haven't watched it live, it will be on LinkedIn. Do go to my YouTube channel and check out, and I will see you next week. Thanks a lot, everybody.